And
Okay.
district website. I love how you guys just have everything linked here. So nice.
All right.
Services.
We got 2 people on so far.
Yeah. Meat Freaks has been waiting for us. Like,
Yeah.
bruh's dedicated.
Can you hear me, Meat Freak? I'm sitting in Mickey's seat till he gets here.
Don't let him lie. He likes to hang out in that seat.
I do. Especially today.
I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Where do I find staff?
I think
Attendance supervisor. Ooh, that would have been my worst enemy.
yeah. All right, y'all. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Somebody. I forget which microphone. Up, up. Oh, okay, there's 3. I'm 3, so I'm on.
Yeah. Then that one over yonder, and
You are 2.
I can't count. I
Or
don't
no,
know.
are you 4? Talk real quick.
Hello.
You're 4. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll turn 2 down.
I was
What's up, Miss Perino? I'll turn 2 down.
yeah, I was in the Arizona school system. I can't count or read. Orale, ¿cómo está?
Oh wow. So
We having a day.
yeah, today is not cool, not
Ah,
fun.
here we are, Board of Education.
Today is not fun. This is Clack, y'all. I'm here. I'm just behind the mic right now because Mickey's not here. I mean, I'm behind the screen.
He's doing the producer thing.
So plus I want to be able to see, the comments, all of the comments.
Hmm. I mean, you are getting older. You're like 37.
I'm 43.
Yeah, see, your eyesight's not good enough to see all them little lines on the side.
I'm 43, but I don't even see. There's no point of even beating around the bush. Everybody wants to hear and talk about what's really going on. You know, I can, talk about what I
Comment
can.
on what you can comment about, and then
Yeah,
I'm going to send them to people that can actually answer the rest of the
yeah,
questions.
because I don't want to get sued.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm not,
terrifying.
and I'm not being facetious when I say that. I mean, I'm being technically for real. Um, so yeah,
Mm. First, let's apologize. So Mr. Clack was on his way to the studio and he got ambushed by a train, right? So he had to fight his way out of that. And then he had to make his way here with like a beat up car because that train jumped him. But he's here.
yeah.
So,
I,
AKA, we were running late.
I do want to, before we get into everything, I do want to say to give to recognize all the Muslim brothers and sisters because the holiday, the
Yeah.
Ramadan, what's going on right now. So I do want to recognize that.
Shit, that reminds me,
um,
when Mickey gets in here, I shouldn't drink Red Bull in front of him.
why
Fast during the day.
you Muslim too?
No. But I mean, if he's going through fasting and then you have some pig sitting there and drinking their
Oh, I see what
drinks
you're
and
saying.
stuff or
I'm
eating,
like,
like,
okay,
that's
okay,
just
okay,
rude.
okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but I'm thirsty.
I mean, he can drink water. Well, that was the Middle East that I learned that, and I don't know
Right,
the difference between his sect and the
right, right, right.
so it might be different, but I'd still feel absolutely horrible, like
Oh
to
yeah,
be that
yeah.
kind of
Well, I'm
rude
gonna
to a
hurry up
man
and drink this before you get back.
that's done literally everything for me.
I'm gonna hurry up.
Yeah. Mhm.
Pour some out for the dead homies.
I mean,
Hey
I
y'all.
just bought a case of these, so I can dump some out, but I'm not paying the cleaning bill.
Yeah, I was just saying that. I'm trying to hurry up and drink.
Hmm.
But yeah, so we got 13 people on. Hey, thanks everybody for coming on and tuning in.
Good morning,
Um,
Melissa. Good morning, Miss Beverly Barnes, Miss Steele, Miss Sarah, or Mr. Sarah. A whole bunch of Mrs.'s.
yeah, everybody, everyone's and everyone's.
Mm. So why don't you hit it with what you can talk about?
What I can talk about is the teachers 119 decided not to come to work today
For
because they want their money.
Now, just to be clear, you were working for the district when they took that pay cut. You were a teacher with the district at that time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you took that pay cut too.
I did.
I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I couldn't be a teacher. I love teaching. I've learned that I like teaching adults more because kids honestly like to irk those nerves.
Mm-hmm.
And my own kids do that.
Mm-hmm.
Other people's kids would probably do it worse. Like, no, I couldn't do it. And then for no pay, like, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good chunk out of the pay. You know what I mean? It really was 19%. It's a lot of money.
Ooh,
that's a lot of money. So
that's a ton of money.
Yeah. So, it's just, it's almost like I knew this day was coming. I just was dreading the day, the wake up to at 6:00 this morning to the phone calls. You know what I mean?
We kind of all knew it. There was talk about this for a while, and then that vote of no confidence, which I'm not going to blame the teachers. Like, they've been waiting for a hot minute, and then everyone else decided to pile onto their problems, putting the board's ass in a sling. It's like, oh yeah, if the teachers are gonna well, the teachers fucking deserve it.
Yeah, of course they do.
Or, I mean, there are some things that I know just from paying attention that I'll speak on a little bit because I've know a bit that might infringe on where you can't talk anymore.
I'll just say I can't speak.
Yeah,
we're in litigation at this point now.
Yeah,
I can't speak on a whole lot. I can't say how I feel about it. It sucks.
Right. Feel for the teachers. I do. Like I just said, I couldn't deal with other people's kids, and teachers make a living off of not just teaching our kids, but a lot of parents sit there with their own kids for 24 hours a day and try pulling their hair out. Could you imagine having a classroom of 30 of those that aren't yours? Oh wait, you can.
Oh yeah, I sure can.
I mean, can the audience? Because if you ain't an educator, we will never know the pain that educators go through. I can wholeheartedly say that I will never know that, and I'm glad to never know that. I do sympathize, though. Right? Like, if it's not your pay getting cut, it's you having to provide for all the shit in your classroom. Mm-hmm. If you want to do something special for the kids to help them learn, kinetic learning, right? Mm-hmm. So you go get some puzzles or some cool games that help the kids learn, or a subscription service or whatever, for online learning or whatever. That comes out of your pocket. And when you're getting paid chump change in the first place, I mean, that's dedication.
Well, what I wholeheartedly believe that in order to be a teacher, especially in the inner city, especially in Flint, you're going to be more than a teacher. Mm-hmm. You're going to be a mom, a dad, a aunt, an uncle. You're going to be a babysitter. You're going to be a therapist. You're going to be
you're everything. You're everything. The mentor. Sometimes you're even the cook.
Yeah. The ride home, you the taxi, so it's I will wholeheartedly sit here, especially with the people that I actually worked with. It's hard to sit up on the stage and look at them out in the crowd and know that it's like I want to, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's like, it's hard. I am them, you know what I mean? Like, mm-hmm. But it's just, at this point I'm sitting on the other end, and it's like the information that we're being given and the advice that we're being advised, it's like we can't afford to,
I mean, you're upside down how much in the district right now? 56 mil. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's insane. Thank you, previous boards.
That's why Dr. Pugh, and we wrote that letter to the Michigan Department of Education. And because we even quote in the letter, it talks about our the population, the high number of kids that we have that receive that are special ed classes. Mm-hmm. It's like we need our debt relieved so we can move forward in certain things. And
I mean, wasn't our high poverty rate in Flint and B, our high population of children with special needs, a huge factor in how much of that ESSER fund came in. Like
Right.
it was a lot more than many other surrounding areas.
That's exactly right.
So, like, there is an actual need here in Flint, and previous boards screwed up the finances so bad that it's come down to this horrible situation between, I don't want to say the board and the teachers. It's more like decisions from the past haunting you, and that's versus the teachers.
Right. So it's what we are going through. Why is
135 mil
everybody's
came through in ESSER funds. However,
right?
there's certain ways that it can be
That you
spent
can
thanks to Congress and the way
right,
the rules they set up.
right. Just like the city with the ARPA funds, you can't just buy things with ESSER. It has to be um there has to be certain things that you can spend the money on.
Hmm.
And I don't have my board notebooks and everything right here with me right now, but I'm not sure if I'm almost positive, but I don't think that that salaries can come out of that. I think it has to go towards buildings and structures and places where
I think
children actually
I think I read
sit.
somewhere in there that it could go toward bonuses, which I think you guys did a chunklet with during
Right,
COVID.
right, right,
Their
right.
teachers were receiving I don't want to say nice stipend, but it brought them back to parity to where they should be for
Mhm.
that time period. Unfortunately, after that, because of remote learning, they lost a lot of the justification for that.
Right, but there was they got not a lump sum, but they got 22,000. Um, there were 3 payments that they
Hmm.
got. It's all on the website. There's if y'all want to find out what I'm talking about, it's on the Fleck Community Schools website. You can go there and you can see there's a this is all before my tenure on the board.
Yep.
This is all stuff that happened before me, but it's out as public knowledge. You can go on the website and see it. Superintendent Jones went out and put a timeline up of the money that was paid out since the 2014 um, since their pay was taken. So a lot of that stuff I wasn't even I was only been on the board for 15 months now, so I
Yeah, when
wasn't
that was
around.
happening, you were one of the people getting shafted.
I was one of the people on the other end. Like, man, they just took this money out of my check. What y'all got? So
I can't afford food now.
yeah,
I'm going to be sitting there eating lunch with the kids.
Right. So it's just I would appreciate if people did go and go and see that at least, because we can't. I can't say a whole lot.
You're not the president anymore,
and I'm not the president, but we are. And I can't speak on behalf of the board because I'm not the president or the superintendent. And it's just I'm not on the negotiation team.
Yep. You're just trustee Clack.
Well, no, I have, and let me explain a little bit about that too, because there were some people who were had some questions about why was the president not on the negotiation team. Okay, I don't have any knowledge in negotiating contracts and union contracts. That's not what that's not what I had any knowledge of doing.
I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. Like, I don't want a novice there. Honestly, if it comes down to a negotiation to keep our schools open, but also get our teachers paid, I want someone that knows how to negotiate.
Right. And see, I'm gonna answer Ms. Barnes in a second, but again, when you go on subcommittees or when you go on committees, you go where your strength is. You know what I mean? So or suppose you try to. So my strength, as the president, I was
network.
Right, but now I'm not the president, so I'm on the subcommittee of athletics and the governance. The vice president is of governance, so those are my two committees. So I just
you weren't trustee, you're VP. My VP.
Yeah. So I do have some responsibility, but as far as the negotiation part, I had no knowledge in union contracts and stuff like that. So I didn't.
Yeah,
that wasn't an avenue I was trying to explore.
When it comes down to like negotiating union contracts, I would go to Wintis before I go to you because she's done that.
Right. Again, I haven't. So I just thought that it would be best to have senior board members that have been there had done that before, and someone our secretary she's negotiated, she's worked for AC Delco, and I just know that she's set up, she's negotiated before. I know I haven't. So this is my strength over here. This is what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna concentrate on
play to your
growing
strengths.
the enrollment in the district by going through. At first, it was my aim was the early childhood, and of course, what happened with that with the secondary school board that the governor, ended up appointing, that took over all the money for early childhood. So I had to go to Plan B, which was enrollment going through athletics, and so that's where we are now.
Okay.
So, well, actually, no, I forgot. Then it was the debt elimination.
Yes.
So we get our debt eliminated, then we could kind of explore different ways of growing the district.
Real quick before we jump on to Ms. Beverly's question, I just want to reiterate. I want to say is about 6 months ago, Trustee Relaford put forward a vote to give the teachers a bonus, correct?
Of 1.5 million.
Yes, and it passed. Has that been paid out?
No.
Okay, that falls on the administration side, but that is a huge deal toward walking toward what happens.
It's bigger than just that.
I know,
and I can't.
You can't talk on it, but I mean, in typical governance, without any extenuating circumstances, it falls on a board or a city council to vote to spend the money, and then it falls on the administrative side to actually spend that money.
You also, when you do that, there has to be specific information,
stipulations,
right? So you
when,
can't
where,
just say,
who, how.
There you go, and that's one of the issues: is the when, where, who, where, when, where, who, what, the what. I mean, the who and the how. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest things. And Tia, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But and I will say that there has been and still is projects that have gone on within the district and are planning to go on. But we paved all the parking lots. Now that's not a big thing, but it is when you look at that coming out of the ESSER funds. You know what I mean? Like we're rehabilitating.
And it's a small quality of life thing, those parking lots, right? Like parents have to come through, drop off their kids. Teachers have to come through and park. And on their tiny wages anyway, repairing your car is kind of a huge deal when you break an axle just pulling into work.
Yeah. No, there has been actually, I won't say her name, but she one of the I won't even say her position, employees at the high school. Her son messed up his car in our parking lot. Like I think she said he totaled his car.
Go figure.
In our parking lot. You know what I mean? So we're again, this board, we're not perfect, but we're tasked with the trying to put out fires from all the previous boards that have misappropriated funds. And
I was hammering on I was hammering on previous boards like they were a nail, just looking at some of the financials.
Yeah,
I was freaking the hell out.
And I'm going to give you your flowers too, because it weren't for you. This is 100% fact to everybody that's watching and listening. This is 100% fact. If it weren't for Trevor, I wouldn't have known as fast as I knew to look at the audit. That was the first thing that was the first when you called me and said, "Bro, have you checked this audit out?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not yet." No, what's up? Remember, you said it was a month or so that went by, and he was like, "Bro, have you looked at the audit yet?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not yet." Remember that? And it was like, so it was, and
prior to that, you and I hadn't really spoke since the candidate forum that you hosted,
right?
And I was like, "Wait, Clack just got elected. Let me look at this. What is he stepping into? He's a nice guy. What in the unholy?" Pick up my phone, dude.
Yeah.
You need to check this out. What's your email? I was freaking. And thankfully, the most recent audit that came out, there was like 2 small nicks, but it wasn't anything that says money could be evaporating as we see where the district is now because of the previous audit.
And that was one thing that I promised to the public, that this audit under my presidency is not going to look like previous audits. And it didn't. You know what I mean? Like I'm proud to say, I'm not.
There was no payment to secretaries that exceeded standing practices,
or not even that, because we're I don't
That's another thing.
But yeah,
I'm throwing blows.
even I've heard of people getting paid in the district that didn't exist. You know what I mean? Like I've heard of that. I've heard of I've heard of all type of horror stories that
Mhm.
happened within the district that just in this 1 year I could say, hey, look, we ain't this board is going to run to the best that I can have it run. You know what I mean? Like, of course,
Yeah,
we
in the
ain't
beginning,
perfect,
you
but
had some bumps. Like,
oh heck yeah, we had a lot of them.
that gavel was falling pretty hard, but once you
And
relaxed
again, I
and
will say it is
people were
not
able to talk,
easy.
things got done.
Y'all know who Claudia is, man. Like, it's not easy to bang a hammer on the table and tell Claudia Perkins that you out of order. Like, that's not. It's any older woman. It's like these women are old enough to be my mom. You know what I mean? It's like I wouldn't
Older
bang.
folk, yep.
Yeah, I
Like,
wouldn't bang a hammer on the table and bang my hand on the table and tell my mom, quiet down. Like,
oh
that was
man,
hard.
because I can see that from your position. I can imagine. I'm actually seeing it right now in my head, sitting at the dinner table with my ma, slamming my hand down, saying, "Ma, shut up," and her reaching across that table and putting me on the floor.
Yeah.
Doing it to my dad, I might end up in the yard getting my ass whooped.
Yeah, it was one time I said something to my mom and she tried to rip my lips off. Like I'm like she tried to really rip my lips off. Like, I like that's just I grew up like that. Like you don't,
Dennis, I can say, and
now here's the thing.
Dylan brought that up.
No, I brought it up.
You brought it up. I remember Dylan saying something about it about 3 months ago.
Mhm.
So not too long ago, and I know you brought it up prior to that, but Dylan brought it up recently, and I want to
there was a meeting a couple of weeks ago that we had, and they were talking about closing schools, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, like the more schools that we close, true enough, we got to right size the district, but I just started thinking like we got 28 other problems, eyesores that's scattered around the city that we ain't talking about addressing. If we can sell some of those, you know what I mean? Like, of course, they've been sitting for so long, we ain't gonna get what we think we're gonna get for them.
No,
You know what I mean?
you're not getting jacked. They're not generational wealth or generational liability at this point.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but the city has more blight, but we got the biggest blight.
Mm-hmm.
We are the biggest. I hate to say it, but slumlords in the city. You know what I mean? Like we
Those
got the
buildings gotta
biggest
go.
buildings, and there's like I just today, I went over and I rode through the parking lot at McKinley.
Mm.
I sat there and I looked and because I used to work there. I taught there. You know what I mean? And I sat in my parking spot and I'm looking and I'm like, how did we come to this?
Yeah, right. Like,
am I the only person that rides around and notices this stuff? You know what I mean? Like they back dumping at Northern. The gates are taken off the hinges over at the school. And it's
like this is Flint. We're used to blight at this point. I hate to say it.
I don't want to be used to blight though.
That's a good point. That's something we needed. Like city's got a blight department. I hope they get to work. County's got a blight department. I hope they get to work. And it'd be nice if if the school district would reach out to them and say, hey, we've got these buildings. I'd like to partner with you. Let's see if we can clean this up. And then, when money's right again, because you have to get the money right first.
Well, here's my
demolish
question about
those
that.
Damn buildings and get rid of that property.
About that, because we just got ESSER funds 2 or 3 years, 2 years ago, so to speak, after COVID or whatnot. But okay, Councilman. Because I've taken pictures. I got pictures that I posted on my own you know what I mean? Like I go around and I take you've seen, I'll go live. You know what I mean? Like I really want to see something happen with the buildings. Now there's something that that's going on now that we're kind of looking into. But even with that, it's like a drop in the bucket. You know what I mean? Like I seem to think this is just me. Mm-hmm. We can walk, chew gum, talk, and dribble a basketball at the same time. So we can have multiple projects going on at the same time. I just think that we can be progressive like that. You know what I mean? I want to know,
Ms. Beverly, I'm going to save that comment, actually. I'm going to come back, screenshot it.
I forgot I can put stuff up here. My bad, y'all.
And I am going to go ahead and talk about that on Friday where I can get more crass, but I'm sitting here with a friend of mine and I try to be in a good mood. And I don't need to get angry, but you're going to hear a lot of F-bombs on Friday if I go.
Well, here's the thing. I'm a real individual. Like I like to say that I'm a real individual.
Yeah.
Like
You don't
so
change between camera on, camera off.
no, I don't. But here's the thing: like we don't have time to be nice anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Like the gloves have to be off every time we walk out of the house. Like we don't have time. You know, I remember and I made it's already out now. I've done it. When we went out to get recall signatures, I remember I was trying to hide it from my mom because I had to go over there and do something. And she was like, well, elected officials don't get recalls on elected officials. And I'm like, yeah, but elected officials ain't been corrupting out in the open as they are right now. And I'm not saying that allegedly, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying like I don't like the
This
politics
is
that I
just a
see.
thing that you, yeah.
Right. And I think that we need better representation.
Actually, when I was with you guys and I was the safety car, I pulled into one of your old blighted schools and I kind of dicked around in the parking lot for a minute. I didn't do donuts, but I did drive around in a circle because a Silverado don't do donuts.
Yeah.
And then I went back and picked you guys up. Like, I didn't even know that school was there.
Which one?
All right, we go down here, hit Ballinger, hang a left, and then right behind where that those apartments and that church is, you hang a left again, you go down the road a little bit. Right in those neighborhoods.
Anderson?
Possibly. I didn't
Anderson's
read a name.
right in front of Northern. Northern the other.
Like when we pull out of here, I'll go show it to you.
Okay. But yeah, let me take that back down. But I just seem to, and this is just me because obviously I'm just one person and my thoughts ain't getting nowhere. You see, we getting people, we getting people that I just got a vision that tonight's meeting is about to be wild. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And again, it's hard to look out and see people that I used to work with, and I can't even look them in the face. You know, I'm thinking about 3 people right now in particular. I'm not going to say their names, but I'm thinking about them right now, and it's like I couldn't even look at them because I worked with them. Like
shit fell through, and now you feel personally obliged. Like that is a failure on you.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, so it's hard to the position that I'm sitting in personally because like I was for one I'm a product of the Flint Community Schools. I came like I got.
You got Flint Jaguars.
Yeah, cool, like I'm representing right now, and I know like the whole world mad at me, but it's like I want to see the district. I want to see the enrollment skyrocket just like it was. I know we got a long way to go. You know what I mean? But we can have good leadership, and all I can do is tell my truth and be transparent and tell everything that I can.
No, give me a second to flex on all the Flint parents for a second.
Yeah.
So while your kids are at home right now, my kid is in a charter school. She's actually at school right now. So I'm going to be that asshole just for a minute.
Yeah.
What do you know? I mean, things work better when government's not involved.
It's the truth. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. This sucks a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully it gets resolved. I mean, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, swing back, go to the Flint Community Schools website and take a look at their financial audit. It's part of their transparency reporting from 2022, and then look at the 2023. 2022 was a systemic issue that ran for, I want to say, close to 5 years prior.
Yeah, you can
and
look at
it is what put the school district in, the sling that it's in right now. Just from money suddenly disappearing from the general fund and the other funds. We had hardly any money going into our athletics program. Why? Because other programs were sucking up so much money. And those programs, A, yielded no results in anything. And B, a lot of that money just ended up disappearing. Someone would walk in who happened to be friends with a former board member and say, I have this project, I have this thing that'll help the kids. They got finances for it, and it never materialized. Who knew? It's much like the 501c3s that went down to city council and begged for money. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got ARPA funds, and they haven't showed the hell up.
Now, I will say that this is just...
And that's a few. That's not every last one, because there have been some good projects that have come out of that.
Of course.
But let's not throw everything into the same bucket.
I think that, we are lucky to have the ESSER fund, because if we didn't, who knows where we'd be. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't be.
There you go. But I'd like to think I think Councilman Pfeiffer's still on. Out of all the money that came through Flint, before I mean, like water crisis money and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Could some of that have been diverted to the school board, to the school district, and helped with some of the issues that the school district has had? Because I know there haven't been any, projects combined, jointed projects between the district and the city, or the district and the state outside of the partnership and things of that nature. But I mean, like financial, because I'm looking at how do we have all these vacant buildings and nobody, you know what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? How do we
I
have
mean,
all of this
I
stuff
think
that
it would be cool if not tonight. You guys got enough on your plate tonight. In a upcoming meeting, you or someone else that may be watching propose a partnership with the city of Flint, and maybe if Dennis is still here, you propose a partnership with Flint Community Schools to help bring down some of these old blighted buildings, get rid of them one way or another. I mean, the blight committees here, or 501c3s, that so much money was fucking paid out. Plus, we have a blight department
Mhm.
utilizing those resources for the betterment of the community.
Yes, Anna, we have a ton of charter schools.
Yeah.
That was
I
the
did my
part.
research on some of
Yeah.
those charter schools, and my kids would never have gone to them. My youngest is in a charter school right now, and it's one that I don't want to say works closely with Flint Community Schools, but it definitely stays the hell out of your way.
I will tell you this. I was so pissed off at the Flint schools that I left the Flint schools and I went to go. At first, I went to go to the county, and then I was like, I got to get back with kids. I like working with kids. I like teaching. I guess
Mhm.
it kind of, I don't know, in a way keeps me young, maybe.
Yeah.
But, I went and I started working for charter schools. And I'm like, man, the Flint schools, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Quality of life was
you know
definitely
what I'm saying?
improved
It's
when
like,
teachers can get paid and they have a little bit of leeway.
right. So, and then it's like you don't have as much politics to deal with within a charter. Now you do have a lot to deal with depending on who it is, what company that you work for. But some of them is, but I was so pissed off. Like, how you just go take
I mean,
and to hear at the time all the stuff that was going on,
mhm.
and to hear all of that stuff that board and man,
A boundary study to see how to increase local residents to their neighborhood schools. Not in favor, just asking. I don't even know what that means, Anna. That is definitely a Clack question, bud.
yeah, I don't know, but I can try to look into that and try to get
Like,
back with you. Anna.
I'm a strong proponent of charter schools for certain things. I'm a graduate of a charter school.
Mhm.
My daughter, my youngest right now, is in a charter school, and in my mind, many students do need what a community school can offer.
Mhm.
They're great institutions and they help out. The way that I learn and the way that my daughter learns, we are more self-paced learners. And by that I mean I like running ahead of the class, but
Right.
I was never so far ahead as to be in the next grade.
Mhm.
I was like at a 10 and a half while everyone else is still at a 10 or
10,
at an
right.
11.
Right, right.
I was never that far ahead. So that helped me out a lot. Charter schools do work with that sort of self-paced learning, and I appreciate the hell out of that. But there are some that are just cash grabs, and I absolutely despise those because when I was looking at putting my daughter in a charter school, I walked into some of these buildings. I
Mhm.
spoke with them. I'm like, hey, I'd like to tour your facilities. I'm thinking of bringing my kid here,
Mhm.
and the kids, you could have. There was a question is like, what is morale? These kids had none.
Mhm.
They looked like they were just beating down money horses.
Mhm.
Whereas when I took my tour of the current facility, kids were sitting there asking questions. They weren't talking amongst each other except for things on topic. I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
I like this.
Mhm.
When I had her in Flint Community Schools, it was the same thing. I'd periodically stop in when she is at Scott
Mhm.
or at DTM, and the students were learning
Mhm.
and they weren't really dicking around. I thought that was great. But once again, she was trying to learn ahead and losing interest when she couldn't.
Hmm. I kind of like that idea, Anna. But in here in Flint, we went. you know, our enrollment has declined so much, and we got buildings scattered around the city. Is why it's crazy how many buildings that are just sitting there. You know what I mean?
Right
Like,
sizing the district has to take place, like you said, right?
mhm.
But it has to be in such a way that it doesn't add more blight to the city. I think your old
There we
buildings, old
go.
properties have to go first,
There,
and then you can look at maybe right sizing.
there you go. So and
And
I,
it's less money coming out of the school district's pocket, so you can start to pay the damn teachers.
yeah. Current enrollment is 2953, I think, something like that. Or 2953, 28.
It's sub 3,000.
It's sub 3,000 for sure. Yeah. It's either 28 or 2900, 2953 or something like that.
I mean, Dennis, would you be opposed to putting something on the council floor to proposing a partnership with Flint Community Schools to help them get rid of some of these
Well,
old buildings? If
we
Flint
got the
Community
money now.
Schools,
I'm not saying I'm opposed to a partnership,
a
but
partnership, because they have the resources, and hell, it may end up being where you guys pay a small bit to the city. However, it's not going out and finding a bidder and then going through that whole process where that back end comes back and gives you a migraine again. The city's got a blight department. Utilize it. You are in the city. It's just you have to work with the city. And I may not be a huge fan of many of the players on the city's court.
Mhm.
However, it is election season. It's time for everyone to leverage that. You want to look good so you get reelected or get elected into your new whatever. Here's your opportunity. Start working with people. If that means the city taxpayers aren't on the hook. I mean, like I just said, if it can be proposed and a sit down, honest negotiation where FCS happens to pay the city a little bit of their funds to bring in your blight department.
That's what Harletta Martin was proposing back when we were doing the cleanup over at Northern for the tailgate this past summer.
Mhm.
That's what she was kind of proposing.
Like, they have funds, and instead of the nightmares that happen with their bidding and contracts, because I've gone through it before. I'm not going to go through it again while Mr. Clack is here, because I don't need to be throwing more fuel onto a fire that's already raging.
Man, we already at a bonfire, man. Let it rip.
All right, look, when they did a recent bid recently for a demolition of a school, a certain person came in and called it all sorts of unfair, this, that, and the third, even though it's the lowest bid, and he accused the board of racism. I would rather that money go to the city, to government workers, to government workers, and just remove that damned headache. You have a blight department. You have, at cost would be a good partnership. That sounds great.
Right. I just wanted to say something to.
Yeah, hit it.
This is stuff that's going on right now. You know, to an extent, is 100% political. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, like this is not. Kids are not benefiting from anything that's going on right now, and I'm talking about behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. You know,
our kids, they're not benefiting. Like, all they know is they go to school, and sometimes teachers in a bad mood, sometimes they're in a great mood, sometimes they have the resources, sometimes they don't. These kids, like, it's like being blind and someone's punching you. You don't see it coming. They don't understand. Oh, sorry, I had to throw that one out there.
Like, this is a reflection of you on their side.
Good morning, Mama Will. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon.
See, he's lost in fantasy world. He's saying
I
afternoon.
I was trying to read.
No, I'm just saying you're saying afternoon.
Yeah. I just all I can do. I'm only one vote, yo. And I'm trying, but this is. Yeah, I know what you meant, Anna. It's just. I
don't know. I mean, like I said, if in not tonight's meeting, because I know you guys are going to be up there drenching yourself in gasoline, people are going to be throwing matches at you.
Yeah.
Metaphorically. In a meeting or two, maybe you can propose a partnership with the city of Flint. Maybe city of Flint can propose a partnership at city council, and both sides can come together, get something done.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I spoke about this before that, when I first became a board member, but first became the president, mayor's people did reach out to me, and
I mean,
they reached out to the entire board, and I was the only one that didn't go.
throwing
Um,
things literally. You know what, Dennis? I kind of want to see you throw a brick.
so I can't say that they haven't tried. I just, it wasn't. It was who was who it was that tried.
Yeah.
And I think I made very clear my stance and how I felt about the who.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just like, no, if it had been somebody that I trust, you know what I mean, that didn't have a whole lot of
Oh, must be on the Facebook side. Yeah. We're kind of talking at Dennis Pfeiffer, Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer, and proposing, this is solutions to the problems. And I threw out a hypothetical solution.
Mhm.
And we're seeing if Clack's running through it on his side because he has been reached out to by the city, but it was someone he does not trust or did not trust.
I still don't.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm just trying. I'm really trying not to get you in more trouble today. I
I
am
don't have
doing
a
my
problem with
damnedest.
saying who it was.
Yeah.
It was the mayor, and it's just at the at the time, even now, it's too much going on. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a whole lot of negativity on my name. Like of
Yeah.
course I've got what I have, but I'm not untrustworthy. At least I don't think that people view me as being an untrustworthy individual outside of the people that wear the t-shirts that But um, I just I wasn't willing to put brand new, newly elected Mike Clack in a meeting in a room with someone who's got a lot of question marks in front and behind their name. I
Yeah.
didn't want to. I didn't trust it. You know what I mean? Like, he came in finding listening devices in the office, so I know that's the first thing that popped in my head when it's like, well, yeah, the mayor wants to meet you, and I'm like, damn, they're gonna plant a listening device in there. They're gonna, they could put a Apple
Well,
tracer on me or something.
the guy's just gonna have his phone on record in his pocket.
Whatever it is, I didn't want to chance it. So I was like,
But
nah.
if it's done out in public, out in the open, I think it's something that can be worked with and trusted. Like if it's put on to the floor of one of these meetings, your meeting or theirs, and it gets discussed out all in the open.
Well, I don't know what happened, but I do know that one of the council people has a relationship with Westwood Heights School District, or maybe two. But this like the Flint schools don't. It's not. Me personally, I'm not saying what this president can do, or because I'm not saying that she will or she won't.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't willing to put my name on the line and go over there and say, "Hey, yeah, the board, we willing to." I'm not doing that.
Yeah, like put it up to a vote for the board. Are we willing to try to work with the city of Flint? And the city of Flint, are we willing to try to work with FCS? And if both say yes and you sit down and you have a nice open meeting and discuss it like rational adults,
Mhm.
maybe we can see betterment for the city and the schools. You
I
guys get
would,
to
I
save
would,
money on those properties and they can sit there and say, hey, look, I helped clean up FCS blight. I spearheaded that charge at the negotiation table, and we all came to a rational decision as adults, and they can use that in their next campaign. Whoever it may be, I don't honestly care as long as something gets done.
I would like to see how their their elections go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would like to see how theirs turn out. Not saying I wouldn't be willing to work with, but it's just like a lot of stuff I don't trust. You know what I mean? And
It
that's
is politics. If you
yeah.
trust, you're dumb.
So I just don't.
Like one of my favorite quotes is hope is the first step on the road to disappointment. Don't have hope.
Yeah, that's exactly
Work it.
right, Councilman Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So I'm just trying to be honest about what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to be at least
I know, but
my truth, or
yeah.
tell my thoughts.
When is your next event?
I'm gonna have probably sometime at the end of the month.
End of this month?
Yeah,
Can we do it beginning of next month?
I'll be in New Orleans.
What are you doing in Nolans?
I'm scared to say.
The man's going to be
scared to
eating
say.
some jambalaya.
I'm scared to say no, but there's the National School Board Association has a conference.
Are you going to go hang out with your friends from New Jersey?
I'm not even sure if they're going.
Well, not National School Board. Like, you guys get a lot of good information from that sort of deal. Just like when you guys went to DC, you got a lot of good information.
Man, we
I
found
saw a lot of negativity around that today, but I remember you going live.
Mhm,
I remember the current president
mhm,
in your chat.
mhm,
I think Dylan was in there as well,
mhm,
and Mr. King,
mhm,
and questions being fielded. Like, you guys got a lot of attention
we did.
coming to inner city schools, and hopefully that translates into funding and understanding from the federal government fairly
Mhm.
soon.
No,
Like, I was so proud of that. And then you got to network with someone from the energy department, which had me so damn stoked.
yeah. Now, see, that's got me. Him, he had me. All these paid trips are on the school. Yes, they are. Now, here's the thing: the school board has a budget. The school board has a budget. Um, I'm not sure if I can say how much it is. It's under $100,000.
Would I be able to find it on a financial report?
Yeah, I think so.
Then you can say it. If it's public knowledge, it's public knowledge.
I'm not exactly sure. I think it's this for all 9 of us. I mean, all 7 of. I think it's like 80,000
Okay. And that can only be spent on
trainings, PDs, and stuff like that.
And that covers travel to that.
Yes.
It cannot be used on anything else.
No, or we'd be getting more than $30 a meeting.
Okay. Capital per student. That I can actually Google right now.
Yeah, we only get $30 paid $30 per meeting. But there are certain trainings that we have to certain certifications. Our board is completely certified at least level 2. Some of us are working on level 3 certifications, and I do know that some of the classes that I'm taking can help me go towards like superintendent classes, go towards superintendent certification. So I might be looking into doing some type of administrative, sometime down the line.
God, what's your guys' annual income into your general? I think it's like 150 mil, right? Not including Esser. I need to go through my files again. I was going to look it up on my phone, but
that's a Dylan Luna question.
Dylan's on that shit.
Yeah, Dylan's he's the treasurer.
Now, from what I do remember, when we were in the old studio, I brought up
Black Tony for Flint superintendent. That's gonna be some years down the line.
I have at Flint schools get more money per student than many of the richer communities around us, including Fenton. The thing is, those communities, those school districts have been more frugal with their dime than Flint has, and Flint is just where everyone came to make a quick buck, either legally or illegally in the past.
Well, see, here's the thing:
we're hoping that changes.
You can go there to one to those communities out there. You can ask them about putting what is a millage to pay for. So, you can ask them, and they'll be more likely to support something like that.
Here in Flint,
asking them to raise their taxes to put something like we know y'all want a new school, and we know, but are you willing to pay another $150 a year or $250 a year?
That's a fair point, because
already paying.
We're already tax shocked.
Exactly. So
like, that would be, we pay so much in our water bill, which is technically, in a sense, a tax.
Right.
I mean, the only reason that the city can do the way it does with its water bill is because of Congress's rules on taxation and how cities and states can now use it, right? So we have one of the highest water bills in the country, and we don't have clean water. We have property taxes that, honestly, for where we're living, what we're living in, are literally insane. And we don't see any of that money actually put to use onto our streets, into our city. We don't see that money go into our mom and pop shops, which, granted, that isn't all the city's fault. Gremlin Whitmer did her best to kill several of those. You can go to Walmart, but you can't go to mom and pop shop. Go fucking figure. Things like that. We are tax shocked here. And then we have a low rate of income anyway. Most of the state or most of the city receives under $35,000 a year in earnings and wages.
Yeah.
We are a very impoverished city. So when you ask us for more money, yeah, I'm freaking the hell out. But when you go to a more affluent area, oh yeah, I can afford to, pay an extra 200 a year. Whereas when you talk to me about 200 a year, I'm sitting here like, shit, that's like that's part of my truck payment. That's part of my insurance. That's part of my truck insurance, my home insurance. I can't do this. That is, and it's just part of the beast living in a very impoverished area.
Right. So the problem is, I think the people know who would be a good leader, who the good leaders are. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much going on. I think the people know. It's just we've got so many people that are benefiting financially from the corruption or from the BS or from the misappropriation. I don't even know how I just had a brain fart. But it's like it's like there's more of us than it is of them. You know what I mean? Like the problem is trying to get people off their ass and get down to start talking shit to people. You know what I mean? It's like, I know there's going to be a boatload of people tonight. You know what I'm saying? But that's because they're upset. But when things are just not just on a regular,
it's a go along to get along kind of deal.
Yeah.
But then when the boat is rocked, everyone falls out, and it's time to start.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
this needed to happen a while ago.
Right. So, but then again, you got to look at the people. They're so tired of getting spat on and, looked over and stepped past. And, it's just.
And, this goes years back. Prior city councils, water was bad. City councils back then, before Dennis's time, before, Tanya's time, before Ms. Winfrey Carter's time, water is good. I don't know what you're talking about. You're lying. And then it went up to state level. Water's good. And we've been so burned out by our governments here. We don't trust them. Then they said, we'll investigate ourselves. Oh, we did nothing wrong. And they let the people responsible off without nothing. I don't trust it.
But here's the thing that I don't see why the people in Flint don't see. How can you have someone that has been on all three levels of state government and then run for another office that's over all? It's like, okay, this person was a city councilman during the water crisis and the state representative, or before and during, you know what I mean? And now the mayor after, and shit ain't, excuse me, y'all, I'm just cussing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. But now the leader of the city, and it still ain't done. You know what I mean?
You're forgetting one very crucial aspect there. His initial vote on the KWA was no. He found himself on a seat on KWA board.
On the board. Yeah.
Where he started receiving bond money from the KWA board, and then all of a sudden his vote flipped. The man made buck off of that. Of course he's going to say the water is good, because then it reflects negatively on his stock portfolio when it turns out to be bad. Who knew? Dennis, I also love that comment. I don't trust any level of government, coming from Dennis Pfeiffer, a man who works in a level of government.
Yeah. There's so many different things that we can sit here and say that we never, even growing up in the household with two politicians, even though I hate saying that word, two elected officials, I'll say that. I never thought, I heard over all these years, like, politicians are crooked and corrupt and they all can be bought off. And I'm looking at my mom and dad like, I ain't seen that part. You know what I mean? Like, now, if we see Chicago, we know New York, we hear about that, but it's like, this is Flint.
You want me to hit you with something? And it's completely off topic, but you want to all right. So California has a bill on the floor right now to raise minimum wage for fast food. And it's exactly the fast food restaurants you think: McDonald's, Burger King, drive by, get some fries, burger joint, right?
Yeah.
Exceptions. If it's in a casino, if it's in an airport, if it's on government state land, they don't have to do the minimum wage increase.
Airport or state land.
Yeah. Gavin Newsom, governor, pops up and says, I want to add one more exception. What if, now hear me out, places that sell bread don't have to do this minimum wage increase as well? A good buddy of his owns a metric ton of Panera breads in California.
Oh, so you just gonna put Brett? Really, man?
So that it hasn't passed yet. I don't expect it to now because of all the national attention. But if that had passed, you know that I feel like many politicians, you and Dennis, obviously exceptions here because you guys can you can put together a 4-piece jigsaw puzzle. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Right. But many politicians are too stupid to figure out actions have consequences. If that had passed, McDonald's would have an easy bake oven right there, just cranking out loaves of bread all day so they didn't have to pay that.
Man, yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when you say politicians are corrupt and crooked, yes, they are. Now, on the converse of that, we do have some straight-laced elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
That was your parents. That is how I see you. That is how I see Mr. Pfeiffer. There's a small group of folks that I do trust in these government positions. It's just the ones around you I feel like need to be swatted with the fly swatter. They're greasy, grimy, dirty, disease-carrying, horrible plight on society.
I hate the fact that you can't. I don't even care about you getting what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking not you, but I'm saying, like, if you're gonna steal, you can't stop everybody from stealing. But just don't. Excuse me, y'all. Don't fuck over everybody.
Yeah.
Like, don't. I'm like, don't do that. I don't even have the words to say because I just lost them. But it's like, don't fuck over everybody though. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me for cussing again, y'all, but don't do that. Like, if you gonna steal, but make sure the people still get theirs.
I mean,
and I don't mean
that's
that
just like the most optimistic way to look at it, right? Like in a very good world, in a utopia, equal opportunity. In a utopia, there would be no theft at a government level.
Right.
In the real world, from your lowest level HOA to your highest level paid positions in our governments from federal onward, there's corruption left and right. I mean, Halliburton, you would never believe what I'm about to tell you. Dick Cheney owns enough of Halliburton to be on the board. He was on that damn board while he's vice president, and then somehow we needed a new war to sell Bradley infantry fighting vehicles.
We need bullets and bombs. Come on, man.
He doesn't even make bullets and bombs. He makes the most trash APC I've ever seen. It's got aluminum armor. Aluminum
and armor don't even seem like they should go in the same sentence.
If it's thick enough, it'll deflect a bullet, but it won't deflect a 20 infantry rifle.
It still don't seem like aluminum and armor should go in the same sentence, let alone right next to each other.
No. Now, the only saving grace for that piece of equipment is it can one-shot a tank using its tow missiles. On the converse, a tank can one-shot it using some of its coaxials.
Yeah, and if it's sitting in front of another one, it could one-shot you and the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we have done some block upgrades since
speaking of New Jersey, they just texted me.
Hey, Jersey. But yeah, we have done some block upgrades since, and there's a video from Ukraine.
Oh my gosh, she's texted me about. Well, this one is texting me about the article she's reading about the Flint schools.
Oh man!
Oh my god, man!
Bono got the military.
You're Bono, yeah.
Yeah, no. So 2 Bradleys just beat the dog shit out of a T-90 last month or month prior. T-90 is one of the newer Russian tanks. They actually stopped production of the T-14 Armada because it was too damn expensive. However, that tank was run by a conscript crew after sanctions, so it had like washing machine microchips in it. Because, of course, if they had gone up against a true T-90 that was up to spec, up to par, that thing would have wrecked those 2 vehicles outright.
Yeah.
Like, the Bradley was built by committee and corruption. It is the graft. Gun talk with Snowbilly. Hey, Dennis, you want to come to the range today? I just picked up a P90, brother. You pay for your own ammo, though.
I would go, but my nerves are already bad. I don't need you
No,
right next to
it's
me.
not auto. It's not
Yeah,
auto.
I know, but still on the video game,
Oh,
it is.
God.
On the video game, it is, though.
That trigger's so nice, though. It's just click, click. I can't wait to send some rounds down range. And this is my first time firing a 5.7. A little baby round.
Yeah. No, I'm nervous, man. I can't even, and I hate to say, because I know Councilman Pfeiffer, I know you're on here. I know you've seen a lot of, people come down mad at you all, so you know what I'm about to go through. It's just like, it sucks when you have people that's looking at you, mad at you, you know what I'm saying? And that part sucks.
Anytime you want to go, Dennis, let me know. But yeah, no, I can understand that because like it's almost like being called into the commander's office when I know I did done fucked up, or one of my soldiers fucked up and I had absolutely nothing to do about it. I know I'm about to receive an ass chewing.
Yeah.
And it's like the anxiety builds up and there's nothing I could have done to fix it, especially if it's one of my soldiers. Like, damn, I'm just going to have to sit here and take it, apologize profusely, say that I'm going to do something to fix it, try to do something to fix it, and watch the soldier screw it up again. In your case, it's, guys, I know things are messed up. I know you're angry your kids aren't in school. Teachers, I know your salaries are getting screwed. I'm going to try to do what I can to fix it. And then you're going to have someone else somewhere, somehow, some way go, fuck you. And you're going to be in the same position next month.
Yeah.
Our stuff isn't fixed yet. Our kids still, their teachers aren't as motivated because they haven't been paid yet, whatever. And you're going to go, well, I tried, but, and then the second you hear that, but their ears turn off because all they heard is, I couldn't do what you wanted me to do, is exactly what they're going to hear. And it's not your fault.
I didn't like the statements that were put out. I thought that they were
unfair.
I thought that they were, they didn't have any. It's like these are people's lives that we're dealing with here.
Yes,
and they didn't have any empathy. I'm not saying sympathy, but it's like you got to be able to put yourself in these people's shoes. They want what they deserve. There was no. I just felt it was cold. I didn't feel like it was, like we were saying that we want to work with you, but that's not really what the tone of the statement was saying to me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. And even the first statement that was read, I didn't like it either. You know what I mean? But in the first sentence it said reject, and even when we went, I can't say that, but I let that part be known. I wouldn't listen to anything after that.
Yeah.
When you say the board rejects, nothing else after that, the whole 4 or 5 paragraphs after that is null and void.
It's just thoughtless platitudes trying to kiss your ass. Like, I'd rather my wallet get patted than my ass get kissed.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you know what I mean. So it's like, I didn't agree with it, and and a couple other board members agreed. So there was another one, and I don't know. That's why it's like it's so hard, because it's like I don't agree with what's.
And that's your right as an individual on the board. Like this, the district will say what it says. You as an individual on the board say, I don't agree with that, but that is the district's position.
That's what it is. I just would like for it to feel more warm.
Like, hey guys, we didn't come to an agreement.
Like, yeah, just like more empathetic.
Yeah,
it seems like
we understand your pain and we're trying to work with you. Unfortunately, we did not come to that agreement prior, but we are trying. We are still at the bargaining table. We are still trying to make things work for both parties. Right. And it needs to sound more along those lines rather than board reject.
Right. And done. I didn't, and again, like, we didn't unanimously. I hope I'm not getting in trouble for what let me just not say it, because I'm not supposed to.
Let's not get the president and the superintendent calling you in 10 minutes telling you to shut up.
Yeah. Like, I don't even want to do that, but that's not.
No. And, we've run a little bit over, but I would like to end after your closing thoughts, if you would.
Closing thoughts. rough day. It's been a long day. It's gonna be long tonight. Just I'm asking everybody just to bear, go. I don't have a statement to make about, this whole situation. Um, I'm no longer the president, so I can't speak on behalf of the board. I can't, I'm not the superintendent. But there is a statement that is, that was put on the website, the district website, along with the timeline. That is the district's response, not the board, the district's response. So yeah. 6:30. I already said that. Did I say the meeting was at 6:30?
You did, but it was kind of under tone while I was speaking.
It was my bad. It's at 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30.
Yeah, but
at the old Scott, correct?
Yep.
In the auditorium.
Yep. I'm gonna be about 3 hours late. I'm just playing.
No, it's like I'm gonna let them wear themselves out.
I'm just playing, man. I'm just playing. I'm not. This is this is the hard part, but I'm gonna be there, man.
Now I will direct people because Clack can't answer so many questions. He is not the board president anymore. He is VP,
and we're in litigation.
And you're under litigation.
Yeah. So.
Now, for what can be answered from a school board position, I am putting the email into the Facebook chat. Clack, if you would go ahead and post it onto the screen, just highlight my comment. That way the folks on YouTube can also see it. That is the school board president's school board email. Please start directing questions toward her so she can give you actual answers that Mr. Clack cannot right now. Number one, he's not the president. Number two, they're under litigation. And she can also direct you to places like the superintendent.
But she isn't going to make a statement about this either. Because
no. But when it comes to an interpersonal, like, right. Hey, I have a very personal stake in this. Can you answer this question? She can freely talk for the board.
Yeah, she can freely speak for the board.
Who's Cynthia Johnson?
She's from Detroit.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. But the board president can speak freely on behalf of the board.
Yes. So you can get some answers from her, what she is able to speak about, because she has the ability to speak for the board. We want to make sure that you guys have the resources to reach out and find the answers that you're looking for that we may not be able to give. Well, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't.
Dennis
I think
Pfeiffer says,
council
different. President, don't speak for me. Obviously,
right.
You speak for you. Clack speaks for Clack, but Clack cannot speak for the board.
I cannot speak on behalf of the board. And I guess I could, but I don't want to get in trouble.
No, you're already going to get an ass chewing tonight from the people and from the teachers. You don't need one from your peers.
Yeah, no, I don't want. So yeah, I hope that I mean, I know I couldn't answer everything, but I did. I thought that I answered what I could, and I almost jumped off into some other stuff, but
yeah.
Hopefully that helped a little bit. Great show. Trevor's doing I got a pee dance.
Yeah. Man, look, I went to a Red Bull while you were getting jumped by that train. I went to a Red Bull on air. I went through another half of one. And then I'm an excited little puppy because I get to go take the P90 to the range. Oh boy.
My bad. He's like, all right, man, I'm ready to wrap up.
And Mickey never showed up. I expected him to.
No, I got to figure out how to cut this stuff off.
I know you hit that big red button up there.
Yeah.
Trevor, how is the Give Health? I'm not dead yet, and the VA just approved me for 100%. So I've actually got health care that will take care of everything now.
So, yeah, but thanks to everybody for tuning in. There is a school board meeting tonight at 6:30. Tune in.
Your voice breaking out. Tune in.
All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, guys. Big red button.
Yep.